Hey everybody, welcome to The Dose. My name is Brian. One of my favorite lines from a cheesy movie that I've seen probably 100 times is the boss at a restaurant is talking to his employees and he goes, "Now you know, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just that little extra." And you know what? There's truth in that. It's true. That's what makes it funny, is because it's cheesy, it's corny, it's silly, but it's absolutely true. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a little bit more effort. I mean, think about it. What is the time difference at the Olympics between first place and last place in an Olympic sprint? Fractions of a second, right? So just that tiny little bit of extra effort in practice, day after day after day after day, might have been the thing that made the difference, because the difference between first place and last was just a tiny little fraction of a second. I mean, do you really think that there's such an enormous difference between the folks that win the Super Bowl and the ones that lose in terms of talent and ability? Or do you think maybe they're just a hair apart? And yet, we all remember who won the Super Bowl. Nobody remembers who lost. At least not beyond the last couple of years ago, right? You get first place, you're on the Wheaties box. You win gold, you're on the Wheaties box. You get silver, no one remembers your name. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not that far apart. It's not that great a distance to travel. And how you become extraordinary is by putting just a little bit more of yourself into everything you do. Couldn't you be just a little bit more passionate? Couldn't you work just a little harder? Couldn't you get up just a little earlier, maybe stay up just a little bit later? Couldn't you just goof off just a little bit less? Couldn't you be just a little bit more enthusiastic, just a little bit more positive? Couldn't you just be a little bit more helpful? Couldn't you just love a little bit more? Couldn't you just give of yourself unconditionally a little bit more? Couldn't you just be a little more kind, a little more compassionate, a little bit more giving? Couldn't you just do a little more? Couldn't you just give of yourself just a little bit more in almost every area? Couldn't you just be a little bit more intense in the gym or in your workouts? Couldn't you? Of course you could. We all could. We know that we don't give 110% all the time in every single thing that we do, and I don't even know if that's possible. But what I do know is that every one of us is capable of giving just a little bit more of ourselves. Just a little bit more passion. Just a little bit more in everything we do. And that little bit can be the difference between ordinary and, you guessed it, extraordinary. It's the Daily Dose, guys. Go make it a great week.